Hello Southies, welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name is Ceci and today you're watching another speed build, and this speed build is going to be on the Britechester lot, the University Housing. I bulldozed that lot and I decided I wanted to build a Georgian inspired home, a Georgian inspired home. And I wanted this to be for kind of like a sorority. Obviously, we don't have actual sororities in the game. You'd have to create a group or an organization in order to have one, to have Greek life, I guess you could say, in the game. But this is what I want it for, and I wanted to build it for my Not So Berry Challenge gameplay. So I am in the middle of the Rose Challenge. Well, not in the middle, the beginning of the Rose Challenge. And she is off to college, and I wanted to build a place for her to stay, and this is what I came up with. So let's see, there are 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms upstairs, and then downstairs there's a living room, a formal living room, a kitchen, a study room, and then there's like a little party area for them, and then there's some outdoor activities as well. And I've played in this house for a couple of days now just to make sure everything works, and it's actually a really fun house to play in. It's kind of fun to see all of the NPC characters sort of run around and do all of the things, and I gave them all of the NPCs. They had traits and everything, but I gave them some traits just to sort of bring out the personalities in them, and so it's been fun to kind of play with that. And I really love this house. I really love playing with this house, and I'm excited to continue to do so. I did have my Not So Berry Challenge on my Twitch, and I am really considering just to give up streaming. It's not really for me. I've been streaming for over a year now, and I feel like I haven't really gotten anywhere with it, and I'm sure many people feel that way, but I just kind of feel like I can't figure out when the best time to stream is, who my audience would be, what other games besides The Sims people would be interested in, because I've played different kind of games and still haven't really gotten any interest out of it. And for me, it's just kind of weird to sort of be sitting there and talking to myself. Like, I know obviously I do that here, but you know, I'm able to stop and go back and fix mistakes and that kind of thing, and it's only for what, 20 to 30 minutes worth of talking, not 2 to 3 hours worth of just talking to myself. And when I'm in building, like when I'm actually building, it's kind of a relaxing experience for me, and I'm kind of a chill person, so the idea of having that type of energy that I kind of feel you need in order to be a decent streamer, it's just too much. Like, I get so tired after 3 hours of sitting there just sort of talking. It's a little easier to do it in an LP because I will probably film 45 to an hour's worth of gameplay. And even within that gameplay, I'm not actively talking and interacting audibly with my Sims. I'm trying to complete certain tasks that I have to get them to do in order to sort of move on to the next thing where I know it will become interesting. And while I can kind of maintain that for a good while on stream, I'm so tired, I'm so drained and unable to do anything else. So I don't know. I'm still up in the air. I made the declaration on Twitter that I was done and finished with streaming, but who knows? Anyway, kind of back to the build. We're in the inside, and I didn't really know what I wanted from the interior. I didn't do Greek life in college. I was a part of various organizations, and the Greek life that was at my school, The only Greeks that had houses were the males, like the fraternities, because of some really old law on the books in the town that my college was at about a house with a certain amount of women could be considered a brothel. So the sororities didn't have houses. They had meeting places, but they didn't actually have houses. Yeah, I think they finally got rid of that law. I have no idea, but the perks of growing up in the South. So for me, trying to come up with an idea for what the inside of a sorority house would look like was all really from just my own imagination of what I think a place like this could look like, and then maybe some movie and TV references that I had. So we have this large area here, which is sort of the informal living room. Here's the kitchen. Obviously in the university, you can't have a stove in university housing, which makes sense for the dorms, not so much with the other housing, because I lived in campus housing the entire time I was in school, and at certain point I lived in essentially apartments style housing where we had a full kitchen. We did have housing that was sort of suite style and it didn't have a full kitchen, but the apartments were actual apartments on campus, and there was a full kitchen with the stove and all of that. So I don't know, not a part of the decision making on that, but I think that what I did, the little kitchen that I did create, I think it did turn out pretty okay. I think it looks really cute. I do go through and I change some of the colors because I kind of realized when I was sort of done, this house doesn't really represent the colors of Britechester that much. And so I go back through and I think I make the kitchen mostly green, and I put a lot of green and yellow throughout. So you'll see that towards the end of the build, me kind of making those changes. But the shape and the look and the things that I used, this is pretty much what the house looks like. So yeah, the kitchen I'm pretty okay with for what we've got. This room here, the informal living room, did take me a little bit of work. You'll kind of see me use a lot of different swatches and things, because when I sort of think what a sorority house looks like, or a Greek house looks like, I think of like with the movie show, and you always have that one sorority that is obviously very rich and everything is very like light and airy and super ultra feminine, and then you have the kind of busted looking sorority house, but I was trying, so I started off kind of wanting it to look like that, but then I kind of veered off a little bit and tried to make it look a little bit more like an actual, like what possibly a real life house would look like, with some color and some light. I did put together this more formal living room space, which the Sims actually use a lot. They would come in this room and study and do their homework a lot. So this room did get a lot of usage, but I figured that this was the place where if you had family members come to visit, they would sit in this room. The alumni would come and sort of sit in there, and then this room, this sort of open room, would be more for entertainment of all the girls, and they'd have meetings in this room and kind of do most of their hanging out in here. I don't know why there's so much pausing. I thought I got rid of all of that, but oh well. So it did take me a minute to kind of figure out how I wanted it to look. I did utilize just some like Pinterest inspiration, not so much ideas. I just sort of looked for large living room spaces with more of a sort of feminine sort of touch. So you'll kind of see my thought process in here a lot, or you'll see me pausing a lot, but I like the concept of how it came out afterwards. I think it's nice and cozy. A couple of Sims came in here and took naps on the couch, this paranormal couch. started to use 2 couches. I ended up getting rid of one and just putting 2 chairs here. So I use these pieces of furniture, but the swatches do change when I start to think of, I kind of wanted to represent the school a little bit more. I think an actual university house would have more of the university colors. I was at some point thinking, okay, so what would the colors of this sorority be? But that was a little bit difficult to kind of translate because there is such a wide color palette within The Sims that not everything is perfectly matched. Some packs are perfectly matched to each other as far as color swatches and stuff, and some aren't. And so I thought it would just be easier to just try and put something together that just looked nice. And if I found something that sort of represented more of the Britechester colors, that would be best. But I did want it to feel nice and cozy and a place where you go to just sit and hang out and watch TV. And I put in, you'll see me later on, I put in the Don't Want the Llama table, as I'm doing right now. So a place where you can just sort of play some games, and there'll be a radio in here as well. I put a lot of activities in the bedrooms. Now, you're not going to see me really furnish out the bedrooms that much because I didn't want this video to be very long. Plus, when you do have university housing, random stuff just appears all over the build that you didn't put in there. So I didn't want to worry too much about putting too much clutter in here because I knew that once I got in the gameplay, random clutter would just appear that would supposedly belong to the other Sims that live in the house that you are not playing with. But I think this room came out really well. I actually took a break in between this portion, so all the building, the structure, and the bottom level, and then the top level. And I thought that when I would come back that I would want to change this room from what it ends up being. But when I came back and I looked at it, I was like, no, actually I like it. It actually looks really good. So this room is sort of the party room where they could have like formal dances and things like that. Maybe not too formal, but just the party place where there's a dance floor and a bar. And I think I put a karaoke machine because the DJ booth wouldn't really quite fit. I might could have forced it to, but it just didn't really fit. So I just put that in there, and I put a karaoke machine and sort of left it at that. This room I am most proud of because, of course, in the requirements you have to have a certain amount of desks, and or a certain amount of tables and things. And so I thought it would be cute to have the little workroom where the girls come and they study, and they have everything that they need to study. They have the research machines in case your degree requires it. We have books in here. Later on, maybe on camera, maybe not on camera, I put an easel in here. I also put a hamster in here. So they do have a little hamster that I didn't realize that hamsters take a lot of effort. These little hamsters that come with my first pet stuff pack, they take a little bit of effort. You can't sleep on those at all. So, but I thought it was cute. Oh, it was on camera. I did put it in here. But this room is probably my favorite room in the house because I don't know. I was really proud of it. I thought it was a very cute space, and a space that I would have loved to have been a part of instead of having to go to the library. So, yeah, but I think it turned out great. I did love this room, even though it's the room that you really don't go in. It's more of like where the alumni come, and there are pictures of past the sorority founder and all of that, past women that might have been a part of it. But yeah, I'm trying to think of any housekeeping items. Like I said, I'm still up in the air about my Not So Berry Challenge. I did put sort of an update video of it. I'm thinking about doing a little bit more gameplay and posting it on here. Not on a regular basis. I say that knowing that my LPs don't really come out in any real like schedule. They just kind of come out when I feel sort of when I have the time. It's a little bit of when I feel like playing that particular family or that particular LP, and when I have time, because I do have a full-time job, so I always have to take that into consideration when I'm doing this. It's a little bit easier for me to do builds videos because I can edit all the footage and then do the voiceover, whereas in LPs I am playing the game with a certain concept or story or something in mind, and then I'm having to go back in the editing process and maybe pull a story out or pull moments out, and that can be really time consuming. LPs are a lot of work, and I know for me they're my favorite things to do. They're the least viewed videos on my channel, which, you know, it's cool. I get it. But yeah, I try and put my heart into my LPs, so I always want them to come out really well, the best that I can, and so I put a lot of energy and effort into them, and so I do take my time with them a little bit more than when it comes to speed builds, so where I can just sort of sit and build. So this room that I just got done working on, that room is where my rose generation obviously will end up. You'll see in the footage, in the screenshots, that her side of the bedroom, which if you're looking at the screen, is the top part, is really decked out because she's not so much spoiled. She's an only child, and she's kind of used to just having everything, and so I just wanted her space to feel very like she put in a lot of work. I think if you go on Pinterest and you Google dorm room and you see the crazy amount of work that some of these young college students put into their dorms, like, I thought I was pretty proud of my setup in my dorm. It's nothing compared to what some of these people are doing in their dorm rooms. But I thought it would be a cute idea to kind of take beds from specific packs. So I've got, my tiny living pack, which is the red room. And then this room is all parenthood. And the room that I was working on before was mostly eco lifestyle, and then the last room is mostly Discover University. I got to utilize that cool Peacekeeper base game wardrobe, and then also downstairs I used the Hey Harry base game table, not the chairs but the table. So really excited to get to use those things. Super excited that The Sims reached out to CC creators and asked them to put things together for the game, and I just hope that they do more of that. I think that was a really good idea. But yeah, these rooms, really, I was thinking about, these girls probably met over the summer or whenever before they were going to school and came up with these ideas of how they wanted to dress their beds, because obviously not every bed they're different. Even if they're from the same pack, their swatches are so vastly different that it's hard to find a bed that could match, but maybe the bedspread is slightly different. You'd have to get some CC in there. But yeah, I think the rooms did come out together, and you'll see all the decorations and stuff that I put in each room in the screenshots. I'm trying to think of anything else that's going on in my life that I could offer up. I'm just, living the dream. It's starting to get warmer outside, so I might be outside a little bit more, trying to get some kind of fitness in. I'm supposed to be going to Puerto Rico in a couple of months, and I would like to, not feel self-conscious about the photos that will be taken of me. So I need to start getting out there, and there's some places are starting to open up again. Mandates are starting to get a little bit relaxed when it comes to COVID. So I want to try and take advantage of some of those things and really get back out there, work on me, if you will. But I am coming up on the end of the video. Let me know down in the comments your thoughts on anything that I've talked about. Were you a part of Greek life in college? If you went to college, do you plan on being a part of Greek life? If you're going, I would love to hear your thoughts. Nothing against it. I just didn't do it. I was just not a part of it. That's all. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know by way of pressing the like button. Again, comment down below your thoughts. I would love to hear them. And if you haven't already and you want to see more content from me, please subscribe. I try to post every week, and I would love for you to be a part of the Southie family. As always, my name is Ceci, and I promise never to break your game. Bye.
You shouldn't be with someone like me. Sometimes I think they're right, honey. Sorry for the tears in your eyes. Hey, love, forgive me just one more try.